You're listening to the FTWpodcast.com, where we talk about wrestling in all of its laughable glory. Every once in a while, some great conversations happen while recording the show that just have to be cut to meet time. So we figure it's time to give those conversations a new life. Here's what happened after the bell.
All right, so basically, I Want Wrestling did a special show. For those of you guys who don't know who they are, they're basically comprised of a few former WWE writers and creatives, so they're insiders. And they had a special show on just the CM Punk shoot promo, and it was so mind-blowingly good to me that I wanted to do at least a counterpoint from our point of view, which is primarily an elevated discussion by the fans. Just a couple things I want to bring up. He had Jensen Karp, Court Bear, John Piermini, Seth Mates, and the whole thing was put together by Dave Lagana, who just did a fantastic job. Now, two things I want to bring up. Well, the first big one I want to bring up is, as I was watching this and I watched the fallout for it, I started to think where this really came from. Because, yeah, WWE's been doing a lot of shoot promos. I mean, they've done some really, really fantastic ones in the past. But this was taken to another level. And the only thing I can think of that would change that is Triple H. Because when Triple H and Michaels would do their promos for DX, Triple H was notorious for going off book. I mean, exactly, like at one point, Triple H was actually turned and said, you know, who writes this shit? I mean, it's like he's notorious for breaking kayfabe, breaking the fourth wall. And when I think about when CM Punk said, oh, well, I'm breaking the fourth wall, that just screamed Triple H to me. So, I mean, how much of a hand do you think Triple H has in this? Because I think his fingerprints are all over it.
There are a couple moments of the CM Punk promo where, yeah, it's CM Punk being himself, but it also kind of reeked like Triple H. Like, I could see Triple H with that grin turning to the camera. Oops, I'm breaking the fourth wall. You know?
Yeah, it was one of those, it was completely off the cuff, but yeah, it just seems so much like him. I mean, what do you think, Joe?
If it was his idea, mad props. Because, you know, I've liked what he's been doing, getting in other talent. Mm-hmm. I really hope he's got his finger. If he's got fingers in it, it's brilliant. I can't imagine Vince letting anybody else do something like this.
Yeah, that's the thing. It struck me. It struck me when I thought about it, because CM Punk, like, actively, of all the people backstage that he attacked, the only people he actually called names were Triple H and Stephanie. And I can't imagine that would have been allowed if not they had at least given sign-off or it was their idea. So yeah. I think at the very least they're involved there. But I honestly think, I look at this and I think I just see Triple H's fingerprints all over it. Like, Joe, like you said, I mean, he's done so much great work with Sin Cara and, well, Karma, no one really could see that one coming. But when she does come back, it is going to be amazing. But he's done so much great work with developmental talent that, man, to be given a project like this, and I just see him all over it. All the speculation on the show lied with two things. Where do you go next, and how does this make money? It's definitely one of those things that definitely has to be in the forefront when you're forming something like this. Where do you think, first off, where do you guys think this is going to go next? Money in the Bank closes, however it happens, however you think it's going to happen. Go. Raw starts the next day. I mean, just think 2, 3, 5, 10, a year down the line. Because what I think is going to happen is that CM Punk's new character, because they're just going to drop the whole Nexus thing entirely and just break that apart. I think CM Punk's new character is going to be like the muzzled freedom fighter. That he's going to be going up against the establishment, much like Steve Austin did. But instead, Steve Austin said, well, I want to do what I want. CM Punk is going to be like, no, I want to say what I want. So I think the idea of cutting mics, him going out there, him going off book on interviews outside of WWE, but, you know, within relatively safe areas, is definitely a possibility and could definitely build a lot of heat if he's basically the mouthpiece of the internet wrestling community, saying all the things that we want to say, but are obviously not, well, they normally we think aren't being heard, but they obviously are because they're being incorporated into this segment.
See, I don't know. I mean, I think if this is all work and he's still signed,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
It's
if
pretty
this
much,
is the case, and that would be awesome.
yeah.
Then I speculate they are grooming him to be the heel for like the next decade. I mean, you're looking at the next Triple H as far as heels go, because how many years? Triple H was like a heel for like 8-10 years before he tore the ACL and was out.
Yeah. Once he grabbed that sledgehammer, it was game over.
Yeah, I mean, and he was brutal. He had all his brutal matches. You know, he
Mm-hmm.
was just that evil fucking guy who gave 20-minute promos every week,
Yeah.
or twice a week,
Yeah.
as it can, sometimes was.
Yeah.
But I would love to see him be the heel from now on, like the top heel.
That would be fantastic. Although you got to wonder if he would grow tired of it, because he seems like the kind of guy who likes to push boundaries and barriers and kind of push against the establishment.
Then let him do it. I mean, give him a little more of that reign. Give him a little more of the reins, and just let him just
let the leash out a little bit. And...
Oh yeah, let him go crazy.
Okay.
I mean, if they were tempted to let Heyman do it, they should let CM Punk do it.
Yeah, and Heyman is far more insane than Punk ever could be.
I don't know about that one. At least Heyman eats meat.
That's true. Heyman does eat meat.
Oh, yeah. No, I guess Punk does too. He's just doesn't drink. Heyman drinks.
No, I thought he was vegan. Or not vegan, vegetarian. Punk.
Is he?
I thought he was.
Oh, fuck. I got Wikipedia now.
I know Daniel Bryan is. I know Punk straight edge. Well, whatever. Anyway. Yeah, I might be confusing him with Bryan. Anyway. Go on, Rob.
I think I think Joe really is hitting on something here. I think with something like this, the best way to go is to kind of groom him to be the heel for the next decade or whatever. And I like your idea too of making him Austin, but making him not Austin, because where Austin was, I'm going to do whatever I want. CM Punk is going to be the opposite. I'm going to say whatever I want. There are so many ways you can make money off of that. I mean, for one thing, you pull in the younger teenage audience because Punk is speaking to them. I'm right up there with CM Punk. I want to say what I want, but I got all of these people trying to. So there's a lot of ways you can make money off of that. Outside of the two ideas you guys have put forth, I don't really have any other idea that you could make money off of.
Okay, that's fair. Here's the thing. I mean, we're operating under the auspices of him signing. I think it's happened. I can't imagine they would go this far if he had not signed. This doesn't seem like we'll let you talk if you're willing to sign with us, and then let him have his without WWE getting theirs. The entire show, there was broad consensus that he had already signed. Do you guys agree with that? Do you think he signed? And if he hasn't, holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, if he has, awesome. Like, cool swerve. If he hasn't, oh my God. This is like one of the biggest things I think they've ever attempted. I mean, this is on par with Bret Hart. Them telling Bret Hart, yeah, you can keep the title. You'll keep the title. And
going into Raw.
You can drop it at Raw.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything,
but
if CM Punk wins, Vince will come out, grab the title, head to the back, and they will begin a tournament. That's the only thing I can think of. Come on. For SummerSlam?
Yeah, I guess. But do you think
see who faces Alberto Del Rio for the title?
That would have to be that would be a logical way to go about it. But I mean, do you, Joe, think he's signed?
Yeah, I do. It blows my mind to think they'd be doing any of this if he hadn't.
Okay, Rob.
If he hasn't signed, he doesn't get anywhere near where he got in that promo. If he hadn't signed, if he either has not signed yet or WWE was worried that he was not going to resign, they would have cut his mic much, much sooner than they did. So I believe he has signed already.
Okay. Cool. All right. One last speculation before we go. This does not matter if it does not make WWE money. How do you think this makes the company money? Either of you, Joe, Rob?
I mean, you're gonna get your viewers up, and you're gonna get your buy rate. I mean, if this is the story they're going with, like, what the fuck is gonna happen with Punk? I mean, at least pay-per-view buys are gonna go up because people want to know.
So you just think it's the pay-per-view buys? You're not thinking long-term if this keeps going?
I mean, if this keeps going, they're going to do more of a real... I think they'll push for more of a real-life thing. They're going to really push things out to social media. They're really... I mean, little things. You know, where there are a few more barbs thrown by CM... Like CM Punk to Cena via Twitter. You know, stuff that... Just things to try and raise up. Almost like at one of those alternate reality games where you... You know what I mean? Where you have all this stuff surrounding you, so it almost seems incredibly real, but the whole fucking thing's at work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That, I think they're really going to push toward that. I mean, I've said it before, with all this internet stuff they've been doing between, like, comments Cena's made on Twitter and Daniel Bryan stuff and Zack Ryder's push on, and the touching, you know, where I still think they're going to do something with Melina and Gail Kim. You know, I just think they're going to really try and make this just fill your life with, like, make it so real.
Okay, Rob?
Well, now in addition to increasing ratings and pay-per-view buys and everything like that, you really raise... If you keep running the storyline, you are going to kind of turn CM Punk into a bigger name than he is already. You're going to make him on the level of a Triple H, on the level of a Stone Cold Steve Austin. And and when he was doing the straight edge thing, WWE liked to compare him to a cult leader. So if he's the rebel going up against the establishment, what better way to kind of pick that up and run with it from the aspect of, like, WWE talking about him during the work. And there's going to be so much merchandise. There's going to be a lot of merchandise. I think that they can sell new T-shirts or whatnot. Stuff like that. I think the WWE will find more than enough ways to make money out of this.
Right. I look at this and I think with the constant pushing to Twitter and Facebook and social media, and then they do this, and it just seems like this would be the perfect... and the fact that CM Punk's followers on Twitter exploded once he did this. And this is the kind of stuff that you would expect to come from, like, a think tank with, like, a social media expert, as much as I hate that phrase. It would come up with something like this. Come up with something huge that will engage the audience that uses Twitter and Facebook and the internet primarily. Get them engaged and use them as an engine to build your brand socially on those networks. And really, that's us. And we marked the fuck out.
No, just thinking about watching that for the first time and just jaw-dropping, and, like, my eyes were... It was like being 6 years old again watching wrestling.
Well, you've heard our thoughts, but now we want to hear from you. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, and even join us live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. at theftwpodcast.com.